You know, back when the Anthony Davis-Luka Doncic trade happened, I talked about there being likely hidden details that hadn't come out yet and stuff we don't know about the trade yet. Not simply both teams wanting to swap both players and thinking that was a better fit and better deal for both teams. No, definitely hidden details, and we've gotten plenty about them from the Mavericks standpoint and about Luka Doncic. Them thinking that he was out of shape, having a poor work ethic, likely being an injury risk, and potentially not having a long career, and along with a bunch of other stuff. Definitely hearing a lot from their perspective and why they maybe thought about trading him and have thought about trading him for quite some time now. But up until this point, we had not heard much about why the Lakers traded Anthony Davis. I mean, obviously yes, could you really turn down Luka Doncic for Anthony Davis? No, I don't think they could, and they obviously didn't. Trading a 31, about to be 32-year-old star and probably a top 10 player for a 25-year-old at that time superstar and top 3 player in the entire league? No, I don't think they could turn that down, and you can't blame them for that. But apart from that, did they actually want to trade Anthony Davis or maybe thought about it before that? Well, according to a new report and actually directly from Jeanie Buss, the owner of the Lakers, that might be the case or at least a thought in their head. According to her and what she actually said, earlier this week, she spoke to NPR's Morning Edition and said, quote unquote, "We have lost the last 3 years in a row to the Denver Nuggets in the playoffs, and we really didn't have anything that was going to look different in the playoffs again. Anthony Davis was complaining about where he was being played at, and he wasn't happy. So I think this was a positive for both teams." And well, that definitely says a lot and about why they maybe thought about trading Anthony Davis. I mean, even apart from getting Luka Doncic for him, which again really is a no-brainer, there definitely is some bad blood here or a little bit of animosity between them. Saying directly that Anthony Davis was not happy here, that says a lot in my opinion. I mean, if the owner is saying that and felt something about Anthony Davis that he wasn't happy in Los Angeles and probably with their team at that, then yeah, there probably is some thought in their head that maybe we should move on from him. He's definitely not untouchable and definitely not the future of our team like they once said he was. I mean, they traded for him back when he was 26 and had made every indication that he was the future of their team and the guy to carry the torch after LeBron left or retired, but that had yet to happen and they kind of withdrew that indication, not really presenting that as the future of their team and the face of their franchise going forward. And if anything, kind of transitioning back to LeBron as the face. You know, hard to blame them with the guy being dominant even now at 40, seemingly never declining, and being a much better face and definitely a much more portraying figure compared to Anthony Davis. Per a different report, that was actually a problem for them as well. Anthony Davis not really stepping into that role for them, not becoming that 1A, and probably not believing he ever could become that 1A option for them. That's another part of it. Doubling down more on LeBron and obviously drafting his son Bronny. That rewarding them greatly in terms of both financial gain and overall popularity and on-court gain as well. LeBron again seemingly never declining. Hard to blame them. LeBron's been much more dominant, whether you're talking about production or simply as a figurehead for their team. Definitely more vocal and more about being that 1A guy for their team, that leader of their team, the guy that you can portray as the face of your franchise, and they really didn't believe Anthony Davis could or wanted to become that for them. And well, then add in the fact that he was constantly complaining about where he was playing at, that being at center compared to power forward, and not really making a good point about it. I mean, playing at power forward nowadays especially requires a lot of versatility and especially on offense, whether it being 3-point shooting, that being the main point of it, and Anthony Davis has been a really poor 3-point shooter for quite some time now. Dating back to 2020, he had shot only about 26% from beyond the arc, and you really can't have that power forward, especially being a full-time power forward. And even apart from that, you know, being a better fit at center for them, at least in a large majority of the time. He's going to finish games at the 5 for them, so why would they want to add a full-time 5 next to him, spend assets for that kind of player, and kind of double down on that? Doesn't make a lot of sense for them, and it definitely did bother them as well. Him never committing to playing the 5 full-time or even close to full-time for them, hating every part of it, and again, year by year, every year bringing up the fact that he doesn't want to play at the 5 for them, would rather play at the 4, and that obviously got to them. I mean, he wasn't really backing it up with his game, not having the ability to be a full-time 4, and whether you're talking about 3-point shooting or simply on-ball creation, versatility at the 4, and being healthy enough to play there for a prolonged duration. I mean, go back to 2020-2021 when they let him be a full-time 4, literally over 90% of his playing time at the 4. He had his most injury-plagued year of his entire career, only playing 36 total games and missing not only the regular season but then a large majority of the postseason. getting hurt pretty much immediately after trying to play during it, and that being a big part of why and pretty much the main reason why they didn't repeat or at least go back to the NBA Finals. And not saying that him playing at power forward was the whole reason for that, but it likely did contribute to it. And then when they went away from that, him playing more at center after that point, the complaining about it, even despite his production going back up, back during that 2021 season, averaging a near career low in points per game, only about 21.8, a career low in rebounds per game, overall the production not being there. And then going to center, the production spiking back up, averaging about 26 points per game in that time frame back at center, a career high in rebounds per game, a career high in assists per game, field goal percentage, and all around looking like a much better fit there for them, especially with LeBron aging and kind of needing to be a more full-time power forward. He never liked it, he never wanted to accept it, despite it working better for their team in many regards. Again, not saying I agree or disagree with that, neither from Anthony Davis's standpoint or the Lakers' standpoint. I think they're both a little bit right here and a little bit wrong. Maybe they should compromise a little bit, then working with each other a bit more and AD playing more at center, or at least accepting that more, and then the Lakers getting him a little bit more help at center. They definitely weren't great about doing that post 2021, so definitely fault on both parties here, and it likely caused a rift between them. Jeanie Buss making that pretty known here and making that a statement, him complaining about it, her obviously not liking that. I mean, that being one of the first things that comes to her mind about why they might have traded Anthony Davis and a potential rift between them. So yeah, it definitely does factor in. I've seen many people saying that it didn't factor in, that was a non-issue and probably didn't contribute to it, but I think this confirms that it did contribute to it and probably a lot more than many people thought. And well, the cherry on top of it likely was Anthony Davis complaining about it for a final time. Only about a month and a half ago prior to the trade deadline, he had a sit-down interview with ESPN and Shams Charania, and during which he brought up the fact that he wants to play at power forward more, that the Lakers should trade for a center and that he's more comfortable at the 4. And well, the Lakers definitely did factor that into the trade deadline, but instead trading him rather than trading for a new center.
LeBron James made some comments. He said that there's not much room for error with this team, given the way this roster is constructed. What more can be done with this roster? Are you satisfied with the roster? Do you feel like you guys need some more here?
I think we need another big. I feel like I've always been at my best when I've been the 4. And having a big out there, we know it worked when we won the championship with JaVale and Dwight. I'm at the 5 and I'm at the 4. I think our 19-20 team was like the perfect construction of a team. We had shooters, we had dogs defensively, we had scorers. We knew like everybody who knew their role.
It sounds to me like you're saying you guys are maybe a couple pieces away.
We are though. Like I really feel like we are.
Like I said, that definitely factored into why they traded Anthony Davis. They might have not been searching for a trade for him, but when one came up that they liked, getting Luka Doncic for him, they weren't too angry about turning him down and not making him untouchable through a trade, whether it be the complaining, not being the face of their franchise, and probably never believing that he could become that for their team. They weren't too mad about it and probably thought that it was time to move on from him. In my opinion, I think they're both a little bit right and a little bit wrong here, which probably means that it was time for a separation between them. And with this report coming out, that likely means that more will come out in the future about them, both from the Lakers' standpoint and from Anthony Davis' standpoint, which will be interesting to read and kind of try to find the facts between them. But with that being said, what do you guys think? How do you feel about what Jeanie Buss had to say about the Anthony Davis trade and why they might have traded him and why he might have not been happy with their team anymore? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But I think that'll pretty much do it for this one, and if you enjoyed the video, then I would greatly appreciate it if you dropped a like, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and hit that notification bell to never miss out when I upload a video. But as always, thank you for watching and have a great day or night.